Hello viewers, welcome back to our YouTube channel, Akis. Today, we'll be looking into everything that you need to know about the secret behind employment visa rejections in Europe. If you have clicked on this video, you might be wondering whether there is truly a secret behind visa rejections when applying for an employment visa. Most of the time, visa rejections occur due to the negligence either on the candidate's part or on the agent's side, who typically handles the documentation on behalf of said candidate. In this video, we'll explore the ways one can maximize their chances of avoiding a rejection from the embassies of any given Schengen country, with examples, of course. Although rejections do happen due to many reasons, there are two important reasons as to why such rejections do happen in the first place, and the latter ones we shall explore in the later part of the video. Now, the first thing is the work permit. Now, you might be wondering, what is a work permit? It is a crucial document in minimizing rejection while applying for any given country in the Schengen area. For those unfamiliar, a work permit is issued to foreigners, granting them the right to work in a foreign country. To reduce your chances of rejection, consider the following when obtaining your work permit. 1. Check the issuing employer. Now, it is really important for you to verify the employer who has issued your permit. Should be easily available right on your work permit document. Now, this information is usually available on all of the work permits, regardless of whichever country you are applying from within the Schengen area. When you do verify your employer, it is really important for you to research into the company's history and background and what they are currently dealing with in terms of their workforce. In some countries, there are systems in Czech that do allow you to verify your work permits. Now, in the case that there are no such systems in existence, as in the case of Poland, for some countries, you can contact someone who can verify the file number within the work permit document through the respective country's ministry or embassy. It should be noted that submitting a fake work permit document could possibly lead you to receiving a rejection, and the reason of rejection we shall explore in the later parts of this very video. Another thing that majorly leads to rejections is mainly due to improper documentation. The main root of improper documentation often stems from the lack of experience or negligence by the agent who is responsible for handling your visa documentation, in order to avoid getting a rejection from this very category, which is improper documentation. Applying through the wrong category is one of the major reasons as to why people do get a rejection whilst doing improper documentation. Ensure that you apply under the correct visa category, for example, in this case, national employment, as applying under the wrong category would significantly, or if not, give you a straight out 100% chance of rejection due to you applying through the wrong category. And another part is due to you missing vital documents. It is important to submit essential documents, including a cover letter. The next part of our video, we shall be looking into the important documents that you must submit and what sort of reasons you can avoid whilst applying for a national employment visa from any given Schengen country within the Schengen area, of course. For example, let's review the document checklist provided by the VFS and review what rejection one can prevent by providing a certain document. Now, the first one in our checklist is the passport. This obviously is the most obvious document which one must submit while processing their visas. In order to do so, please ensure that your passport has a minimum of 2 blank pages and a minimum of 6 months of validity. Submitting a fake forged travel document, also known as your passport, will lead you in getting a rejection on the basis of reason number 1, which states that a false, counterfeit, or forged travel document was presented. In addition, providing a damaged passport, which also includes water damage, or even providing an existing passport with torn pages, including slightly torn ones, of course, would still lead you to getting a rejection under the very same point, which is reason number 1. The second in our list is visa application. The visa application often comes in the shape of a form, and it is the most important when it comes to filing your visa application at the respective embassy or visa application center. This application is one of the first documents which the visa officer examines when reviewing a candidate's file. It should be noted that a candidate applying for a Type D employment visa for the Republic of Poland must apply for a Type D visa through giving a Type D visa application form, and not on a Type C application form, which most likely has a flag of the European Union in it and should look pretty much like this. Failing to submit a proper visa application form could possibly lead you to getting a rejection under reason number 8, which states that information submitted regarding the justification for the purpose and conditions of the intended stay was not reliable. Now, the next one on our list is flight itinerary and travel medical insurance. This is equally important as well, as providing a flight itinerary gives the visa officer a basic idea in regard to the time as to when any worker plans on going to the country that they are applying for. A travel medical insurance ensures that their medical needs are taken care of during the entirety of the visa period which you'll be applying for. It should be noted that the date mentioned within the travel medical insurance must match with the date of arrival and the date of departure of the country which you're applying for, as mentioned in your visa application form whilst applying for a national employment visa. In the case of Poland, the Embassy of the Republic of Poland only recognizes the following insurance providers, as you can see in your very screen right now. Failing to do so would end up in getting a rejection under reason number 16, stating proof of holding an adequate and valid travel medical insurance was not provided. Our next point is, of course, one of the most important ones when it comes to applying an employment visa, which is giving an original and valid work permit. As mentioned previously in this very video, make sure that your work permit is genuine and valid, and make sure to follow whatever steps we have mentioned previously in this very video. Failing to provide an original and valid work permit could lead you to getting a rejection letter under the following reasons. Reason number 2 being justification for the purpose and conditions of the intended stay was not provided, and reason number 10 that the information submitted regarding the justification for the purpose and conditions of the intended stay was not reliable. Now, again, the next important step is proof and registration of the employing company. In the case of Poland, it is your KRS document. The KRS is basically a document provided by the National Court Register of the Republic of Poland. It is a document which contains the registration details of any given company based within the country. This document basically gives information to the size of the company, when it has been registered, where, and its current address of operation. Failing to provide the KRS could, again, similar to the previous one, lead you to obtaining a rejection under reason number 10, which states that the information submitted regarding the justification for the purpose and conditions of the intended stay was not reliable. Our next document is an original employment letter from the applicant's employer in Poland. According to the checklist rightfully mentioned by the VFS, this letter also should contain the following features in order to qualify as an original employment letter. One being, this employment letter or contract must be on official company papers with a stamp, signature, date, and clearly mentioning the full address and contact details of the company. The second one is that the name and position of the countersigning officer, also known as the owner or possibly the director of the company, who has undertaken the signature on that very document. And number 3, details in regard to the employment of the said candidate, such as their position, salary, and estimated duration. And finally, number 4, details regarding additional conditions of employment if provided. For example, this could be your accommodation, transport, and how the company does undertake your living expenses during the time period of your employment contract in that specific country. Now, the next document is the supporting documents category. Although it is marked optional under the official checklist provided by the VFS, we would highly recommend our viewers not to leave any stone unturned when it comes to submitting the right and maximum number of documents possible in order to support your case. In this case, the subsections that do come under the main section of supporting documents include 1. Professional or educational certificates proving professional skills, copies and originals, legalized, attested and apostilled by the MEA, which is the Ministry of External Affairs, or MFA, which is also known as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ensure to get the documents legalized by the MEA in order to ensure the authenticity of the documents which you might have provided to the respective embassy. Additionally, as rightfully mentioned, providing professional documents such as ITI documents or any sort of technical diploma can further support your trade as rightfully mentioned in your work permit, thus making the reliability of your statements even more authentic. Failing to do so would lead you to getting a rejection under the following reasons. Reason number 10 being that in the information submitted regarding the justification for the purpose and conditions of the intended stay was unreliable. Reason number 11, there are reasonable doubts as to the reliability of the statements made as regards which they will specify. And reason number 12, there are reasonable doubts as to the reliability and to the authenticity of the supporting documents submitted or as to the veracity of their contents. Now the second one within the supporting document subsection is your work experience certificate. In relation to the previous point, although not mentioned, getting your work experience certificate apostilled and legalized by the MEA would authenticate the given work experience certificate, thus further strengthening the authenticity of any given candidate statements. Doing so would prevent the same rejection as previously mentioned, which is number 10, number 11, and number 12. Now the third most important thing is your police clearance certificate, also known as your PCC. It is really important for you to submit your police clearance certificate. In this case, make sure to obtain your police clearance certificate or your PCC from your nearest Passport Seva Kendra or PSK. This document basically gives the passport officer the belief that you don't have any criminal cases against you, which thus leads you in not being a public threat towards the countries for which you are applying for. Legalizing and apostling this document will further confirm its authenticity, further reducing your chances of getting a rejection. Through the submission of this document, any given candidate can prevent themselves from getting rejected under reason number 7, which states that one or more member states consider you, the candidate, to be a threat to public policy or internal security. The next category is documents confirming accommodation. This document essentially confirms the booking of appropriate accommodation for the intended period of stay in the Republic of Poland. In this case, since we are looking to apply for an employment visa, of course, this might be your letter of accommodation, which contains your address of where you will be staying or during your employment period in the Republic of Poland, of course. Submitting this document would prevent rejection under reason number 12, stating that there are reasonable doubts as to the reliability, authenticity of the supporting document submitted, or as to the veracity of their contents. And reason number 10, the information submitted regarding the justification for the purpose and conditions of the intended stay was not reliable. The next important section is your additional documents. Documents under this category can be any sort of document which can or which you do feel can support your case. In this case, since the said candidate is applying for an employment visa, although not mentioned, we would highly recommend you to attach your bank statement attested by the bank manager of your respective branch. Submitting this particular document can prevent you from getting a rejection under reason number 3, stating that you have not provided proof sufficient means of subsistence for the duration of the intended stay or for the return to the country of origin or residence or for the transit to a third country into which you are certain to be admitted. Failing to have a certain amount of balance, as mentioned by the Polish government, would further lead the candidate to facing a rejection under reason number 4, stating you have not provided proof that you are in a position to lawfully acquire sufficient means of subsistence for the duration of intended stay, or for the return to the country or origin or residence, or for the transit to a third country into which you are certain to be admitted. In addition to the bank statement, one can also submit additional documents that do not fall under any of the other mentioned categories that we have mentioned thus far. Nonetheless, providing such additional documents would make the visa officer feel that the said person is an actual genuine case with a true purpose of working and doing employment-related activities alone. This could be in the form of adding any other document related to the technical qualification of any given candidate, especially when you are applying for an employment visa. Other than a bank statement, we would highly recommend our viewers to please submit a visa covering letter. Now, this document in particular is as important as any other document that we have mentioned thus far in this very video. The main reason as to why this is the case is that it is quite important important to note that this one document is the only piece where one would establish a proper communication with the respective visa officer present inside the embassy of the country that you would be applying for. Now, in the covering letter, it is really important for any candidate to be frank and genuinely honest with your intentions, the documents that you are planning to give, and the documents of what you plan on doing once you do get a visa. Being dishonest or even showing an ounce of doubt in your intentions would easily lead you in getting a rejection under the following reasons. Reason number 12, there are reasonable doubts as to the reliability, as to the authenticity of the supporting documents submitted, or as to the veracity of the contents. And reason number 13, there are reasonable doubts as to your intention to leave the territory of the member states before the expiry of the visa. And number 10, residence proof. Although one's passport copy is sufficient for this, providing a residence proof is purely for the reason of deciding which jurisdiction one must apply from. In the case of candidates residing within the northern and eastern parts of India, it would be through the Embassy of the Republic of Poland, and for candidates who are present in the southern and western parts of the country, it would be through the Consulate of the Republic of Poland located in Mumbai. Applying through the wrong jurisdiction could lead the said candidate to receiving a rejection under reason number 10, although a remote chance, which states that there are reasonable doubts as to the reliability to the statements made as regards ... Now the next one is copy of passport data pages. Giving a copy of passport data pages, although not necessarily attracting any sort of rejection in any of the reasons mentioned in the rejection letter, it does make your file even more genuine than it already is. As long as you do provide the embassy with the copy of the data pages with any sort of stamp or visa sticker that you have received previously in your old passport or on your current passport, provided that you have had a travel history or have worked abroad in any sort of country. Doing so will provide them with an insight to your travel history, thus further increasing your chances in obtaining an employment visa. Now that we have covered all of the documents, it is really important for my viewers to know that visa rejection ratios don't matter anymore as it used to. Since most visa rejections occur due to the reasons mentioned in this very video, as long as your documents are proper and compliant, and of course as long as you have follow these steps mentioned in this very video, for the most part, embassies of European countries reject files for valid reasons, and rightfully so, as long as you're honest, genuine, and frank with the said visa officer, and you do provide genuine documents that state your purpose. There is a 99.9% chance that any given candidate does get a visa. That is all you need to know about the secret behind employment visa rejections in Europe. If you have found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button for more informational content just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.